Hi everyone, it's Tom Cherryhomes with the FujiNet project, and I'm making a video here to show using the FNC tools with SpartaDOS X 4.49. If you saw the previous video showing how to use FNC tools with AtariDOS 2.5, you'll find that the exact same tools also work on every other AtariDOS, including SpartaDOS X. We'll start by creating a new disk on our local storage to be a virtual hard disk. It's going to be 16 megabytes long. Hold on just a moment while I turn down the volume on my TV so we don't have an echo. There we go. So we are here at the root of my SD card slot device. I guess I could put it inside SpartaDOS here and create a new disk called SDSDisk.atr. And let's make it a custom size. You can, of course, make custom disk sizes. We specify that we want the maximum number of sectors and the largest sector size, effectively giving us a storage size of 16 megabytes. Yes, I will support 512 bytes sectors at some point. Are you sure? Yes, absolutely. And we want to mount it in drive 1. We can see that the disk has been made, and if we look right there on our host slots, we'll see that SDS Disks is there, ready to go. We also need to pick up a copy of the FNC tools, and we pick it up in exactly the same place, and it is exactly the same image file. Go ahead and mount that. We can mount it as read-only to be polite to everyone else. And we can hit Option to boot. Now, not much is going to happen because this is a blank disk here. But we do need to go ahead and insert our SpartaDOS X cartridge. We'll go ahead and do that. And I apologize for the color bars here for just a moment. I will have to reset my video capture device so that it will work as intended. There we go. And now we can select SpartaDOS X 4.49 from the list. Now, since this is my daughter's XEGS, I do apologize if some of you have noticed the drop in the video quality. My 1200 XL is in the shop, so I'm using my daughter's XEGS to record all these videos. We'll select item number R, SpartaDOS X 4.49, and within a few moments, we boot into SpartaDOS X. Now we do need to make one more adjustment here. For that, we'll actually go to Chrome and go to FujiNet, the FujiNet admin site. And we need to adjust the high-speed SIO index to 8. That is the fastest that SDX can talk to FujiNet without another patch, such as the PBI patch on the Ultimate 1MB. If you have the Ultimate 1MB, you can crank this all the way up to 0, and it works just fine. So with that, we go back. We go ahead and do a cold start again. And we'll see if we do a directory of the unknown file system, no problem, we can format it. Drive 1, we see that it's a 16 megabyte disk. We give it a label, we go ahead and build the directory. Yes, it's about to be cleared. Are you sure? Yes, absolutely. Now this disk image can really exist anywhere. It can exist on the SD card slot, but it can also exist on the network somewhere. Doesn't really matter at all. So now with that, we find ourselves out and with a fresh new SDS disk right here. The first thing we really need to do is to get the stuff that we mounted on drive 2 here. And you'll actually see if we load it that these tools work exactly as expected. We need to take and copy the tools that are here over to a nice little place on our new hard drive, quote unquote hard drive. We make a new directory for it. I call it FNC. We cd into it, and we'll go ahead and copy everything from there to here. Much the same as we did under SpartaDOS 2.0. The big difference here is that instead of renaming the individual files that we did for the .coms to not have an extender, we will actually be renaming the doc files to be .man files so they can be used as man pages, and update the man path and path appropriately so that you can access these tools from wherever you happen to be in the command processor. You can feel free to skip over this. Not much left though. And for whatever reason, the pause button didn't seem to be working, so I'm letting this play through here. Apologies for the wait, guys. But you do get an idea of the relative speed of how things are in SpartaDOS X. SIO is slower than an SIDE2 cartridge, and you can use an SIDE2 cartridge with FujiNet. There's absolutely nothing stopping you here. But I'm showing you what is possible with nothing more than the FujiNet here. Almost done. And I did have ape time here, and while ape time seems to work under other versions of SpartaDOS, it seems to not work so well under SpartaDOS X. So the kernel driver that we need to make will need to address this as well. So with that, you can see our nice little utilities here. Ready to go. We want to do one little thing here, and we want to rename all these doc files to man files for reasons that you'll see in just a moment. Now when you see, they all have man extenders for manual pages. And finally, we'll get out of this directory here and make a quick little script. Oops, sorry. I've got my wires crossed. Apologies. And we'll set, first of all, we'll set the path to car, of course, but we also want it to check FNC. And we want to do the same thing for man path. And maybe we want to go ahead and run and check our network configuration as well. Maybe you want to look at the host slots, maybe you want to look at the device slots as well, just as an example. Go ahead and hit our escape, save, and we'll do a cold to test it out. Did I do something incorrect? Sorry. Oh, I have MS-DOS on the brain. Silly me. I really should re-record this. But I won't. We'll change it. The drive letter was incorrect. There we go. Again, getting my wires crossed using so many different systems. We'll go ahead and try cold again to test. We can see right here, all good. We can see that these tools work just fine under SpartaDOS X and do exactly what they're supposed to, the same as they do under Atari DOS 2, the same as under DOS XL. Doesn't matter. My DOS. Doesn't matter. We'll go ahead. We're done with drive 2 here, so we'll go ahead and eject it. And since we actually have all the different tools with manual pages, we can look up the manual pages for each. And you can see what they can do. Fmount is a very useful one, showing you how to take and mount disk images. I actually need to update these, but okay. So what can we do with all these tools now that we've got them on here? Well, let's start by trying to look at some existing host slots here. We can use the FLS tool. For example, I can look at my local storage just fine. There it is. And I can look at the storage on my local TNFS file server. That's in host slot number 2. And you can see all of that works as expected. It's easy enough to take and mount individual disk images. Say, for example, I want to take and mount edtest into drive number 2. So into drive 2 from host slot 2, read only, I want to take and mount edtest.atr. No problem. It does just that. I can go to it. I can take a look at it. There are all those wonderful games sitting right there on that disk image. And bounce all the way back to drive 1, of course. I can use these tools from pretty much anywhere, but you know, whatever. I'm done with that, so we'll go ahead and F-eject 2 there. But to show that the end tools also work as expected, we're taking copy a couple of things from various network sites using the end device, using the end tools. Since we don't have a kernel driver, I can't just do this, for example, or go to drive in and deal with it that way. We will be able to soon, but in lieu of that, we can use the end tools to get what we want. For example, let's go ahead and make a games directory. Now let's take and copy a game into the games directory. We'll do that by making things a bit easier on ourselves and setting into a particular prefix. In this case, homesoft.online. And we can check that we're there by doing an indir right there and getting the output. Let's go to here, just to go there, and we can verify that we're going there by using the npwd command. Ready to go, and we can copy. Say, for example, I happen to know. Let's take a look here. We'll copy Congo Bongo over. Sure. Use the ncopy command to copy Congo Bongo. And you can see that it works just fine. It works because we're just using the standard Atari operating system integration points. And these tools actually talk the end driver protocol directly over SIO, so you don't have to have the handler loaded. So they're a nice substitute when you can't have the end handler loaded under CIO or the future SpartaDOS X kernel driver loaded up for memory reasons or whatever. This is a nice substitute. And as you can see, it works just fine. I mean, I can load this and it will just work just fine. It's awesome. And it looks like I need to reset, so let me power for a minute and just toggle my video capture device ever so slightly. And we go back into SpartaDOS X. Oop, got stuck again. That can happen. Darn it. Again, there we are. We have our one SpartaDOS X disk mounted as drive 1. We have a games directory, etc. And once again, this actually works with everything that the end device actually supports as well. So again, we can ncd stuff collections. Let's say stuff collection. Let's make sure that we've gone there. Okay, and let's take an in directory to make sure that we're there as well. We are indeed looking on an FTP server here, and we're going to You'll notice that if I did not actually specify path, that it actually asked me for one. So let's go to here. And we're going to go one more level deep, just like we did with the other video. And there's Frog, look at that. Okay. Right. And we're going to copy that over. We're going to use that. Oop. Looks like I need to add some additional bits. Oh, sorry, that was my bad. Need to use a comma. And there's Frog. And you can see that it works just fine. Reset, go back out, for example. And of course, you have all of the other tools. We've shown most of them. Some of the others, fhost to set host slots, fmall to mount everything, which is useful when you've done a whole bunch of mounts and unmounts. Indev is really not usable under SpartaDOS X, but that's okay. And actually, well, it's not usable under the command processor. But if we take, for example, I haven't set the mem save, so that's just fine. Let's go ahead and just for the sake of argument here, well, no, actually, I'm not going to do that because I know that one, but never mind. Okay. You have finfo to look at the info for device slots, as you can see, and so on. So you combine all of these together and you have a nice set of utilities to really do a lot of use. And I'm going to go ahead and basically just cut the video here, but I wanted to go ahead and make this so that you guys could see that this stuff does indeed work under SpartaDOS X as well. And yes, can the integration be better? Absolutely, and it will be with your help. So until next time, guys, have fun.